What if I told you the last 10,000 years of nutrition advice is built on a mistake? We weren't designed to live on grains, and the evidence is overwhelming. In the next few minutes, I'll show you the truth about human nutrition that mainstream science doesn't want to admit. Hi, everyone. My name is Marc Bates. I'm a metabolic health coach, and this is part of my question and answer series. The food pyramid is a 10,000-year-old lie, the forgotten truth about human nutrition. So let's move to the question. This evolutionary perspective fundamentally challenges how we think about human nutrition and health. As someone who clearly sees the evidence for humans as facultative carnivores, what do you think it will take to shift mainstream nutritional science away from the agricultural paradigm that's dominated for the last 10,000 years? Is this a scientific revolution waiting to happen, or are there institutional forces that will keep us locked into promoting grains and fearing fat? Well, you're asking the question at the very heart of the nutritional truth movement. Because what we're facing isn't just the need for better evidence. We're staring down a paradigm shift that threatens the foundation of modern food, medicine, and even cultural identity. So let's break this down realistically. Okay, is there a scientific revolution waiting to happen? Yes, but it won't be a quiet one. We're in the earliest stages of what philosopher Thomas Kuhn would call a paradigm crisis in this model. We have a dominant model, the grain-based low-fat dietary paradigm, becomes institutionalized. Over time, anomalies pile up, chronic disease epidemics, failed dietary interventions, and contradictory data. A new model emerges, the ancestral carnivore Keto, that explains reality better, but it is seen as hearsay. Eventually, there's a revolution, not because the new model is accepted quickly, but because the old one becomes impossible to defend. We're entering stage 3 of this model. What's preventing the shift? Well, there are massive institutional, ideological, and economic forces at play. A few examples. The industrial, agriculture, and food industry. Global agriculture is built on grains, sugar, and seed oils, the very foundation of processed food. Animal-based diets threaten entire commodity systems, corn, wheat, and soy. Replacing meat with a plant-based synthetic alternative is now a $100 billion market already. Oh my God. Okay, medical and pharmaceutical complex. Chronically ill populations create lifetime customers, not cures. Follow the money. Metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, obesity, PCOS, Alzheimer's, and even depression are managed, not reversed. Food is not taught in medical school, pills are. Finally, you got some government and policy inertia. Dietary guidelines are intertwined with USDA agricultural subsidies. And heart-healthy whole grains and seed oils are promoted not because of science, but because of economic enrichment. And finally, you have cultural ideologies. Low fat is moral and virtuous. Meat equals environmental harm, often exaggerated without context. And finally, plant-based equals compassion, even when it leads to nutrient deficiencies and actually kills so many animals in building the monocrop portion of the plant-based diet. These narratives are emotionally loaded, not just empirically flawed. Okay? So, when we deal with what could accelerate the revolution, it starts with clinical reversals at scale. As more physicians, for example, like Drs. Tro Calhinian and Ken Berry and Anthony Chafee, and patients reverse metabolic disease with animal-based diets, the evidence becomes undeniable. Grassroots movements. Carnivore and ketogenic communities are growing faster than institutional nutrition can respond. Biohackers, coaches, and independent researchers are creating new systems of evidence and credibility. You're part of that movement if you're in this community. Generational shift. Young doctors, scientists, and health influencers are increasingly skeptical of legacy models. Once a generation grows up free of food pyramid dogma, change will accelerate. The collapse of the status quo. Rising obesity, infertility, and depression rates are breaking public trust in mainstream guidelines. As failure becomes impossible to ignore, the search for alternate models becomes urgent. So, what can you do? If you see the truth, then you're part of the revolution already. Here's how to push the shift. Tell your story, how your health was recovered, how your energy restored, how you're no longer on meds. Share the science, not just anecdotes. And you want to know the science to share? Join my group here. Question consensus and help others do the same. Support clinicians, researchers, and educators speaking the truth at risk to their careers. And finally, build communities that live differently and thrive visibly. Revolutions don't start with institutions. They start with people willing to stop apologizing for seeing clearly. Okay, final thought here. The agricultural paradigm is ending, but it won't go quietly. This isn't just about food. It's about control, worldwide, and sovereignty. And we're not designed to be grain-fed, inflamed, depressed, infertile humans. We are apex, fat-seeking predators, and we are remembering. That memory is the revolution. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. If you have comments or questions, leave them in the appropriate section. And this is a community that we're trying to help you get the answers you want. If there's something you want me to cover, please put it in the comments, and we'll put it into the schedule as soon as possible. And as always, if you haven't done so, please like, share, subscribe this video with somebody else, because you'll help the channel a great deal, and I thank you for that. But you'll also help a bunch of other people. Thank you.